Okay, are we back?
Yes. Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the WRAP, which is a vision for sustainable waterway access. My name is Heather Tedlow. I'm representing the Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department. Joining me today is Spencer Crowley, representing Florida Inland Navigation District, as well as Chris Bumpus, Paul Vitro, and Stephanie Cornejo, also representing the Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department. In this session, we're going to give you an introduction to what the WRAP, or Water Recreation Access Plan, is. Then we're going to break out into groups, and we're going to get some feedback from you guys on water access here in Miami-Dade County and where you feel there are opportunities to improve. And we really want you to participate because we are going to share what you share with us today with the project managers. So it's really important we have a really robust conversation. In the breakout groups, we're going to ask you to pick 2 representatives, 1 person to speak and report out from the group, and then 1 person to be the note taker, because we're going to want those notes to make sure we get all the information from this session. And then we're going to have some time for wrap up and to answer any questions you all may have. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Spencer Crowley, who's going to give us an introduction to the WRAP.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I got it. So thank you, Heather, and happy to be here with everyone today. As Heather mentioned, my name is Spencer Crowley. I'm an environmental and land use lawyer here in Miami. I have 4 children who attend Ransom Everglades, and that's how I got involved with the Youth Climate Summit here today through their work at school. I'm also a volunteer on the Florida Inland Navigation District, where I serve as the Miami-Dade County Commissioner to that group. We call it FIND, using the acronym FIND for the Florida Inland Navigation District. So as a commissioner on FIND, one of the things that we do is we help to make sure that the intracoastal is navigable for boats and recreational access. The intercoastal, as many of you may know, runs from Miami all the way up the state to Jacksonville. And so we have to maintain that so that it doesn't fill in with sand around the ocean inlets. Another thing that we do is we provide money to cities and towns for projects that improve their waterfront. So we actually have grant funds that we can give to help people improve their waterfront. So we recently provided Miami-Dade County with a $100,000 grant to help them develop a plan which is based upon improving public access to Biscayne Bay and the county's other waterways. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with Biscayne Bay, but here's a slide that sort of shows the 2 different components of Biscayne Bay. The north part over here, and then the south part here. And the bay is really a shallow subtropical water body, which runs the length of Miami-Dade County, and it separates the mainland of Florida from the barrier islands, Miami Beach and the barrier islands up north. And then as we go further south, it's separated, Biscayne Bay is separated from the Atlantic Ocean by, sort of the northern extent of the Keys. So the bay is really a beautiful natural area, and historically has been a place where people have been able to go and recreate. But it's also threatened right now with a lot of pollution. And the pollution is usually worse after rain events because the rain can inundate the sanitary sewer system, which is where our toilets flush into, and it causes that sewer system to leak. And then it can also flush nutrients and toxins into the bay through the stormwater system. So whenever it rains, you know, the rain goes into the roads, it goes into these pipes and then flushes everything out into the bay. So this time of year, when there's not a lot of rain, the bay is really a nice place to spend time. But even when the bay is nice and healthy, as depicted in these pictures, there's another problem, which is that the bay can really be difficult for some people to access and to get to in order to enjoy. So there's a few places along the causeways that go from the mainland over to the Barrier Islands, where you can park a car, people can park their car and kind of go and get into the water. There's a few boat ramps for those lucky enough to have a boat, where you could, tow your boat in a trailer and launch it and get into the bay. And there's also some waterfront parks, but most of them don't allow people to access the water, for things like canoeing or kayaking or paddleboarding, or even to get into the water to swim. You know, a lot of our waterfront parks have either a high seawall or something called riprap, which is like rocks that go down into the water. So it's really hard for people to access the bay and to use the bay in a responsible way. So my group, we provided this money to the county so they can help create better access to Biscayne Bay. And today, what we want to do is to get your ideas for how the county can do that. We want to understand from your perspective, what do you think the government can do to help create more public access to the waterfront and to Biscayne Bay? So, for example, the things we're looking at, and you guys can come up with anything really, but some of the things we have in mind are kayak and paddleboard launches, whether they be from public parks or private property, perhaps more boat ramps, perhaps more public parks with elements that allow people to actually access the water. We're thinking about water transportation, like water taxis and ferries, and also things that like managed areas for boats to anchor, so that people feel like they have a better place to go once they're on the water. So that's really the idea behind the session today is to just have you guys kind of think about the bay, think about the people that don't have easy access to the bay and how we could help foster that. And so all of your thoughts and comments today are going to be incorporated into this plan. So this is a really great opportunity for you guys to have a real impact on public policy and planning that eventually will help make Miami a better place to live. So thanks for having me, and I look forward to hearing your ideas.
Okay. Thank you very much. We can go ahead now and get into our breakout groups. We'll need 3 breakout groups.
Okay, you got it. 3 breakout rooms.
Yes, please.
So first breakout room is going to be called Biscayne Bay. Biscayne Bay. We got our second breakout room. That'll be called Everglades. And we got our third breakout room. That'll be called, one second, the Pine Rockland. Pine Rockland. Okay. And I'm going to open them now. Open all rooms. Okay, so participants should be allowed to choose their own rooms. If you guys need help choosing your rooms, I can assign you to one that you'd like to go to. Can you guys access the rooms?
No.
No?
What room are you going to?
Probably Pine Rockland.
I can.
Okay. So was that Ignacio?
Yes.
Okay, where would you like to go? Biscayne Bay, Everglades, or the Pine Rocklands?
I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Okay, I'll give you Everglades.
Okay.
Yeah, on mine there's a little note that says the host has opened breakout rooms. Please wait to be assigned.
Oh, that's okay.
So I think you may have to assign everyone.
Oh, okay. That's not the best. I'm gonna try this again. Then I'm gonna close the rooms and I'm gonna randomly assign each participant to a room. That sound good?
Sounds
Sure.
good.
Okay. So they're gonna close in about a minute.
And then we need to come back to the main room in about 20 minutes
Okay.
after we're in our rooms.
They're closing soon.
Hi, I was in Biscayne Bay, and I was the only one, and it's kicked me out after 54 seconds. Should I try a different?
One thing is, we just had to reassign the waiting rooms and the breakout rooms, so we're about to do that right now.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I'm assigning everyone to a room now. I'm gonna make every room equal as possible. Assign two. Assign two. Biscayne Bay. Everglades. Pine Rockland. Sure. Go here. Biscayne Bay. Rockland. Okay. Only a few more people. Chloe Steinberg. You are going to Everglades. Okay, so it's just us, I guess, right? Do you guys want me to put you in a breakout room as well?
Yeah, one of us should be in each of the breakout rooms, as long as Paul, Stephanie, Chris, or myself are in one of the breakout rooms, because we actually have the
Okay,
guiding
I'm
questions.
putting you in Everglades, and I'm gonna put you in Pine Rocklands. I put Chris Bumpus in Pine Rocklands. I'm pretty sure. Oh, is anyone in Everglades? I mean, is anyone in Pine Rockland? Dr. Clayton. No, no one isn't. Freaking hell. Okay, so we're gonna move Spencer Crowley. Who's one of the good ones? Okay, I moved Bumpus to Pine Rockland.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Looking forward to hearing what all the groups came up with and to share our thoughts. With somebody, the spokesperson from the Biscayne Bay group, go ahead and share your group's thoughts.
Great, thank you, Heather. We had decided as a group that I would share the notes and our talking points. And from our breakout group, if anyone has anything else to chime in, please feel free to unmute your mic and share anything. I'm gonna go ahead and share what our breakout session thought of equitable access. And in terms of our first question of whether there's equitable access or not in the coastline, our team definitely agreed there's not equitable access to the coastline. And they also observed that especially during COVID, it's really shown there is not equitable access in the coastline and that it may be more limited to people with boats, which is a really interesting observation. And also a couple of our team members noted that the beaches are often privately owned where they live. And in addition, in terms of equitable access, our team had brainstormed providing more information about how to access the bay in terms of where they can view it, launch a paddleboard or kayak or a boat, or even maybe jog along the bay would be really important to include better signage across public access points and on social media. So thinking physically and digitally is what our breakout group really opined on throughout our session. In addition, in thinking about environmental education, a lot of our team members had echoed that they would like to see education where the people are, not necessarily in a secluded spot, but where people often visit and enjoy destination points in Miami-Dade County. They think that there's often fascinating information for example, in a park, but it may not be where everyone goes. And so kind of distributing that information in other destination areas is really important. Also, in terms of environmental education, our breakout group shared that it is vital to have more than one interaction, especially for students with the bay. A lot of us had recollected that we only had one interaction, whether that was waiting at a beach or doing a beach cleanup when we were in school, and that we need to better engage students by having possibly a yearly engagement so they have more than one experience, a transformative experience that is. And then second, to have a different experience every year. So as Spencer had recommended, maybe it's wading in the beach one year, hiking in a hammock the next, kayaking in another year, and kind of thinking about that holistically for environmental education is to keep people engaged. And then last but not least, also one of our breakout session team members shared that we need to, for environmental education, provide an avenue to connect people with groups that are providing some of these experiences like beach cleanups, maybe education on and activity on climate change effects, and to help themselves in environmental activism. And with that, of course, I'll defer to anyone else on our team who'd like to share any additional ideas, or if I miss anything. I do have my own notes, so I copy and pasted the chat, so I didn't actually miss anyone's notes, but if I missed it orally here in this, please feel free to chime in, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Group Biscayne Bay. Those were awesome thoughts. Next, we have Group Everglades.
Paul, which group were we?
I thought we were Biscayne Bay.
I thought we were Biscayne Bay too.
Well, we'll now become Everglades. All right. So that's why I'm sitting here being quiet. So, well, thank you to my group. So it took us a moment to get rolling, but once we did, I thought we had really good discussion. So a special shout out to Brenda for taking what I assume to be copious notes that she'll be sending your way, Stephanie. And then Rachel, who kind of was voluntold to be our spokesperson. So Rachel, thank you very much. I'll turn it over to you.
So apologies, this is not really going to be Everglades information. This is going to be Biscayne Bay information. We were just called the Everglades, I guess. So we had Stephanie, some very similar conversations that you had about equity. So I'm not going to repeat, but I will say that one thing that we did discuss was ability to access Biscayne Bay. We also had concerns about equity with swimming abilities. So across Miami-Dade County, we weren't sure if, we have equal access to the ability to learn to swim, right? Some of us learn very young and then some of us don't learn at all. And that's a barrier for getting into a water experience whatsoever. Another thing that we talked about was access, that there's confusing signage. Some places say residents only, and therefore that is not showing equity, because if the site is run by Miami-Dade County, it really should be for everybody, not just people that live in that particular city or area. Some of the things that were also brought up by some of our Everglades team members were once you access the water, actually having the knowledge of what to do when you're on the water. Like, where do I go? Do I go east? Do I go west? Am I going to get lost and never get back to my launching point? So we were thinking about maybe something that would be across the board of like signage. And then one of our team members brought up talking about introducing sort of like an internship role of maybe somebody leading you on an experience, and then having the youth actually being there to learn from those leaders that are guides, and then they would then take over and be experts in that area. We also talked about safety issues on Biscayne Bay. So we talked about jet skis and issues with people renting them, so tourists versus residents, and then lack of like actual knowledge of basic safety rules. So someone brought up, like, when you use a boat, you have to go through extensive training to be able to use a boat and to be a pilot of a boat. But then when you get on a jet ski, it's kind of like, as Paul said, the Wild West, which I totally agree with. And therefore, when you're then out on the Biscayne Bay as someone who's a resident here, you may not feel so safe. And I definitely agree with that. And then I think the last thing that I would want to say, which is what I brought up in the last second, was we have a lot of visitors to Monument Island, Teachers Island, and all that type of stuff, like day stayers that come to the islands and then they don't use that area correctly. And then there's a lot of waste and debris. And if anyone has gone and cleaned up those islands, I mean, it runs the gamut of like bottles of alcohol to just generalized trash, pool floats, etc. And we've seen people bring generators to those islands and like load up their blenders for the day. So I just don't know if that's like accurate conservation of our natural resource and our important ecosystem of the Biscayne Bay. So that is our summary from Everglades Room. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for Pine Rockland, Sunny's going to be our spokesperson to summarize what we discussed in our room.
Okay, so in our room, what we got was something similar. We also had a discussion about equitable access, but we talked about like people that have a hard time maybe walking or have a disability. So we thought of having different types of public transportation to move to waterways. And also we thought about having like educating people on the environmental impacts of waterways and environmental damage to waterways. Like, so we would be hosting events at waterways. We would also be using school curriculum and field trips to also help with that. So yeah, and then we would also like spread the word about these activities, why they're important, why are we doing them, what is going on, and also spreading the word about where waterways would be located. And again, we also had a discussion about equitable access due to location issues, which is also another reason why we had public transportation to waterways. Yep, that was our summary of what we discussed in the Pine Rocklands room.
Perfect. Well, this has been a great workshop. Thank you all for joining us today. If you have any notes that you want to share, please email them to Stephanie Cornejo at miamidade.gov. And thank you all. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We're always here to answer anything that you would like to know. With that, we're off. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Wait, I have one question real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so how long has this plan been, how long has RAP been implemented for? Or is it a new plan?
That's a great question. And thank you so much for asking that, Sunny. It's currently actually in development, and it's been in development for about 15 months. And we're looking for the plan to be finalized for implementation, right? Looking at what opportunities we have and how we can improve upon access and recreation for all water users. We're looking for that to be released by June. So it's something that's still in development right now. We're reviewing the draft document, we're editing it, and then we'll go ahead, then we'll be in the process of having a couple review sessions, and then we'll finalize it and it'll be published in June. That's a great question. Okay. And then from there, those recommendations, whether they're design or infrastructure or project-based, then they'll be scheduled for implementation, seeing how and where we can implement those best practices and ideas.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thanks.
Of course. Bye. Oh, bye. Thank you very much. And we'll hang back too if anyone has any questions. Thank you so much for your time today and great ideas.
I think, Stephanie, you should now have in your email the notes from my section.
Oh, super. Thank you very much. Awesome, Brent. I have my email right now and I see it. Thank you.
Great. Take care. I'll see you in another session, I think.
I think so. Have a great day. Bye. All right. I'll definitely be here for a few more minutes in case anyone has any questions. Oh, I see Team 6 unmuted. Did you want to say something?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, no problem. I see we have a couple of folks who have hang back with us. I'll be here for a few more minutes if anyone has any questions. I've also put in the chat my email address in case anyone has other ideas. Feel free to send them to me. I ask if you can by next weekend. Of course, if you have other ideas after that, feel free to contact me. I put my email because I think I've seen, at least in our breakout group, a lot of people had preferred to interact by chat, but I'll also list my phone number as well. Oh, thank you very much, Julio. Thank you so much for your great ideas too, and for your input. We appreciate it. Great. I think maybe, I don't know if anyone else who's hung back has any more questions, but I think will we close the session? Is that right?
Yeah, I'll close it now. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for presenting.
Thank you. Have a great summit. Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Bye.